think you're just looking at talent, man. There's a lot of talent.
Real talent, not
real talent.
Not talent. Real,
just
talent.
real talent. Yeah.
Us bottom sniffers are just trying to make YouTube.
Bottom sniffers.
We're just trying to make YouTube videos from it and make it work.
Yeah.
What up, party people? This episode covers a little bit of everything from bike racing and golf tournaments to tattoos and lawnmower maintenance, and Drew even coins his own new nickname to describe his talent level. We want to send a big shout out to all of our supporting, longtime loyal partners, because without them, well, who knows what we'd be doing, I guess. So if you've got some big racing or some big training coming up and you just need to refresh something on your bike, whether it's drivetrain parts or pedals, or you've got an achy bum and you want to try a new seat for your bike, you can head over to Bike Tires Direct and use the code BONKBROS for 10% off for all of your cycling needs. And trust me, they've got plenty of tires to boot. Or if you need something in the little bit more marginal gains category, then you can head over to SILCA.cc to meet all of your chain wax and performance needs. And make sure to use the discount code. It's a new discount code, BONKBROS Unbound 2025. That's right. Capital B BONKBROS, capital U Unbound 2025. You can get 10% off with that code. Oh yeah, and for all of those all-day energy and recovery desires, our homies over at KETONEAID have your back. And don't think that your ketone use has to stop at cycling performance either. You can use these things off the bike to improve things like cognition while you're sitting at your desk all day, or maybe a little pick-me-up in the afternoon so you can get through that long list of chores that you got around the house. And you can even use this on the golf course to help with focus and energy like I did at the US Open qualifier yesterday. So if you want the full ketone experience, you can pick up that Ketone Heavy, or if you want something that's a little more sessionable, then you can head over there and get the Ketone Light option. Use the affiliate code in the show notes for free shipping. So if you have any questions or feedback for the show, you can always drop us a note at bonkbrospodcast@gmail.com, or you can hit us up at the Bonk Bros Instagram page, or you can sign up for the Bonk Bros Patreon and submit your questions that way. All right, let's get this party started.
We should probably actually talk about some bike racing before Drew gets on, huh?
I want to talk about Adam's running event.
You want to hear about that?
Yeah, and you are your US Open qualifier.
Yeah. Well, the running event
Dylan's
sucked.
I didn't even know that you did a running event. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, dude, I did an ultra marathon.
Wow.
50K.
50K.
Yeah.
How many miles is that?
31.
So it's like barely more than a regular marathon.
Yeah, that's why they call it an ultra marathon.
What is the definition of an ultra marathon in running?
Longer than a marathon.
Anything longer than a marathon.
So it could be 27 miles.
Yeah,
but usually
no one does that. Yeah, 50K,
100K, 100 miles.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. The longest running race I'd ever done before this was 5K. So I've really stepped up my game.
Yeah.
How'd it go? What was your time?
7 hours.
Dang, dude.
So the format was kind of fucked though. So we had to do 100 laps of this 100-foot grass hill.
What?
Yeah, that's what it was.
That
it was just
sucks.
So it's just running up and down the hill 100 times.
Okay. Why out of all the 100K running races that you could have done, did you choose that one?
Well, I had zero plans of ever doing an ultra. So I chose it because my neighbor invited me to do it. He was putting it on, and it's in our neighborhood.
Oh, it's in your neighborhood.
Yeah. So like the park that the race was at and the hill that's on is attached to our neighborhood. So it's kind of like, I guess if I'm going to do an ultra, this is a pretty easy one to do because I can literally walk there and I could train there. So yeah, it sucked though. I got 25 laps in, and then my IT band and my hip flexor on the right side just completely blew out. So I was like literally having to walk downhill and then run uphill, which like everyone else was running downhill and then walking uphill. But I couldn't, I literally couldn't run downhill. It was so bad.
Running downhill is worse than running uphill, in my opinion.
Yeah, I found that
terrible.
Yeah. In training, I never did more than 35 laps. So I just never got to that point where my body was breaking down, I guess. But I hit a wall pretty hard. Like it was getting ugly at the end.
Are you able to walk now?
Yeah, I was fine.
No, I mean now.
Today? Yeah. Yeah, like I like Scott said, I played the US Open qualifier yesterday, so I had to walk 18 holes. Which that was not easy, but
Wait, how far was this run?
I did it. 50K.
Oh my God, Dizzle, this is why you need to
I saw a
Be
picture
on
of you.
time.
You just
Dylan,
need to
shut up.
log on time so we don't have to repeat ourselves.
Just shut up. Did you just wake up 5 minutes ago? You look like a bum. Adam, you look like a bro, dude. You look like you're swole now, dude. I saw a picture of you. I'm like, dude, that ain't bike racer Adam anymore. That's gym bro Adam. Like, your chest was big. Like, I didn't know that was possible.
Dude, stop calling Adam fat, man. That's not
I know.
polite.
I said chest, not belly. Big difference.
Yeah, I don't know. There were some times where I had a Blumenfeld belly going on there too, but
Well, what'd you shoot in the golf?
I shot 75.
Is that good?
Not good enough.
So like if say you did really well in this, is this a qualifier to get into the US Open, or you get into the next qualifier to get into the US Open?
You have to make it through 2 rounds of qualifying. So this is local qualifying, and then they've got regional qualifying, or they call it sectional qualifying. So if you have to make it out of local qualifying, and then you go to the sectional qualifying, and that's where like PGA Tour guys and stuff like that, a lot of them get exempt straight to the sectional qualifying. So you're kind of going up against like all the big hitters. So yeah, so it took, I figured it would take 68 to get out, and that's what it took. It was 68 got outright, and then 69 was a playoff for the last 2 spots. So technically 69 could have gotten out, but I was 1 under through 9. I was playing pretty good, and then I knew I needed to go pretty low on the back 9 in order to make it out, so I pressed a little bit and didn't pay out. But it was
So
cool.
you think you're better at golf
That's
than
what,
we are
that's
at
what I
biking?
was just gonna ask.
at bike racing? Probably not right now, because I've only played golf. This is my 3rd round of the whole year, so a little rusty. But if I practiced, well, like when I'm playing good, probably about the same.
So mediocre.
Yeah, mediocre, average. Yeah, yeah.
Nice one.
Like I have a much better chance of qualifying for the US Open than ever making it onto a World Tour team.
Yeah.
Like way better chance.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then why don't you just do that?
I know. I
He is
should.
doing that.
What I shouldn't have done was done the ultra marathon first, because that probably didn't help. But
Yeah.
Whatever.
Do you think that affected your golf game?
Oh, 1,000%. I know
It
it
affects everything. It affects how you walk up the stairs the next day. Like,
Yeah, I
he's probably
was-
yelling at his kids and stuff. And
Yeah.
like, okay, he's probably pissed. Yeah. When I did an ultra marathon, I couldn't bike for 3 months after that.
3
Really?
months, dude?
Dude, I'm
Ruined
going-
my knees.
But when
I'm
I
going
did an
biking today.
When I did an ultra marathon, I raced a bike race the very next day. So
I know I
There's
thought
that.
about
trained
that.
for it, and I was 13 years old.
yeah, well,
What?
Yeah.
Jeez.
We're not.
Yeah,
all
Drew,
on that.
I thought about that, because I was like, so Richard from SILCA, shout out SILCA, he's doing the double next year.
Oh snap!
So
Good luck,
so
Richard.
I
He's
told
already
him,
planned to do the double next year.
yeah, dude, he's been running, he's been
He's
pounding
already
miles.
training?
He's
Holy
already
shit.
training, dude. He pounded 5 miles on the pavement yesterday.
Dang.
But I told him, I was like, dude, I'll do the double with you if we both commit to doing it single speed. And he was
Why?
interested. Just
Yeah,
because
that'd
it's
be cool.
fun. I don't know. Because if you're gonna like suck at something anyways, you might as well make it even suckier.
Adam, you should do the double regardless. Like I feel like that's right up your alley.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it. If I do it, I'm thinking maybe my next ultra would be Mid-South and do the double.
Yeah.
You can only do a handful of those a year,
Yeah, I know.
or one maybe.
I honestly feel like the Mid-South ultra would be easier than what I just did, though.
Well, it's like pretty.
Yeah, well,
relatively
you don't have
flat,
to
right?
run up a hill 100 times.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, like there's still downhills, but it's not as steep, and it's not on grass, and it's not every 2 minutes or less, probably every minute, something like that. Yeah.
I
So we'll
think
see.
I
Maybe
decided
me
to
and
do
Richard
the-
will do the Mid-South double single speed.
The year I did the double, I was contemplating contemplating doing it at Crossnats in the middle of December. And then after my off season, I decided to do it. So I think I had like 10 or 12 weeks to train for it, which is probably not usually enough, but it was enough that year.
Blew out your IT band. And
Yeah, you got injured too, didn't you?
Well, I don't know how like serious the injury was, but it got to the point where I couldn't like it hurt so bad I couldn't run for the 2 weeks before the race. But luckily I had done enough training up to that point to where it didn't matter. Like I already had enough running in my legs, and so I just didn't run for 2 weeks, and then I felt fine during the race.
Yeah. That's what happened to me. Like training was going really good until like mid-March, and then we went down to Arizona for a vacation, and I brought a brand new pair of shoes that had literally arrived on my doorstep that morning, and I hadn't run in them yet. And they were the only shoes I brought down there, and I got blisters on the first day. So I was running like 10 or 15 miles a day with blisters, and that's when my hip flexor started to go out because I was like, my gait was all weird. So I like really didn't train for the 6 weeks leading up to this because I couldn't run more than a mile or two without my hip flexor hurting.
Dang.
So
that's rough.
That didn't help. So I kind of wanted like another stab at it so that I can actually have like a real training going into it and see what I could do.
That's the thing about running, man. It's just so easy to injure yourself.
I know.
It's too easy. You know?
Yeah.
Like cycling, to get an overuse injury, you actually have to be riding like a shit ton.
Yeah.
You know, running, you just, you run a little bit more than you did the week before, and you're like, oh, fuck, dude. My hip flexor's fucked now.
Oh, you're good. It's all downhill.
Yeah.
And you're talking about like 10-hour weeks. Like 10 hours, 12 hours is a lot for running.
Dude, I think the biggest week I did was 8 hours. Like not even close to like normal volume.
Do you think I'm not positive on this, but do you think cyclists train more than any other, like a professional cyclist trains more than any other?
Triathletes.
Yeah, triathletes do go crazy.
Yeah. Triathletes, like they're putting 40-hour weeks in on the reg.
What do swimmers do? Because I feel like you could swim a fuckload without injuring yourself.
Yeah, but they don't put in the volume. Like like a long swim session is like 2 hours, and they'll do 2-a-days. It's like they might do
3 days.
Yeah, but if they're doing 3 days, they're doing gym training on top of that. So I mean, you could count it, sure, but that's going to be another hour. It's like at the most, I would say swimmers are probably swimming like 30 hours a week, which is still no joke, but I think triathletes probably take the cake on that.
Yeah, because you can stack like all the different sports stack.
30 hours a week of swimming is so much longer than their events. I don't think they need to swim 30 hours. Like a swimming event.
When's the last time you swam, Dylan?
5 minutes. I'm not a swimmer.
I know. This is an unrelated question. When's the last time you like actually like treaded water?
I treaded water.
Like you were like in a body of water,
just in a pool that wasn't a hot tub.
Water. Yeah,
I think probably last summer.
Seeing Dylan in swimming trunks and swimming is so far fetched for me. Of like that level of funness that when he said he was gonna, some of our friends, Grace and Trey, invited us to their lake, like a house on a lake, and they've got a boat and stuff. And they invited Dylan, and Dylan said he was gonna come, and I was like, no way.
Why would I not come to the lake?
I just can't picture you on a boat enjoying yourself. Like that seems far fetched,
dude.
Like,
you guys start so many rumors about me on this podcast, and then I meet people in real life, and they're like, "Oh, dude, it's Mr. Dylan No Fun," and I'm like, "What the?"
The thing about you sitting on a couch by yourself was at Sea Otter. I woke up one morning and you were literally just sitting on the couch without the TV on, just sitting there, and I was like,
"Dude, okay." Scott has said so much stuff about how like I sit, all I do is sit on the couch in the dark, not doing anything, and I don't have any furniture. Like in Trey's video about my bike build, people were like, "Oh, I'm surprised to see furniture in Dylan's house." Like Dylan's house is well lit. Like who would have thought? I'm like, my house is always I'm in my house right now. Look at how well lit it is.
Yeah,
because the sun's up.
Like literally one time I was sitting on my phone in the dark in my house because like when I started looking at my phone, it was light and then the sun went down. And then Scott came back in from his ride or whatever. And he's like, dude, what are you doing sitting in the dark, you weirdo?
No, it was definitely more than one time.
No,
Honestly, man, like I respect it. I give you props because like you don't want to expose yourself to too many fun things, or else you might just like throw bike racing to the wayside.
Bro, my
That's the
mom,
problem I have.
my mom used to say, like, you know what? I'd ask her to stay the night at a friend's house, and she would literally be like, you know what? You had a lot of fun last weekend. I think no. I'm like, Mom, what do you mean? Like, you can't have too much fun. And she literally said, you can't have too much fun. I'm like, what? Like, she wouldn't let me stay the night at friend's house because I had fun the week before. So no fun this weekend.
I mean, it's all relative, right? Like, so if you're used to this level of fun,
Yeah.
if you just, keep it here, then when you have like a slightly more, you're like, wow, this is the best time of my life.
Right. Yeah.
So
It's
when
like
you get
that
on
crack
this
cocaine addiction.
So when you're on this boat this week or this summer, you're going to be like a whole new level of funness for you. You're going to step up like 3 notches. You're going to go up.
Wait,
3
when is
levels.
this boat trip happening, dude? I want to go
What
on the
kind
boat.
of
Yeah,
boat?
come on. I think it's in
What kind
South
of boat?
Carolina. I'm sure I could invite more people.
I've been on a boat before. It wasn't I honestly, like, I think I'd rather be riding my bike.
Think on this one that this is one of those wave makers, and so you can you can do the thing right behind the boat where you surf the wave.
Do you think Dylan could do that?
Yeah.
Dylan, would you attempt like wake surfing or wakeboarding or anything?
Yes.
Or even water
I've
skiing?
been
No,
regular.
I
I've been
wouldn't
regular
injure
surfing
myself.
before.
Kev?
Yeah, I have not been wake surfing, but I've been regular surfing before.
Where'd you
Like,
go
did you
surfing?
go
Long
like
ass
out
time
there
ago.
and paddle around, or did you actually like surf? Like, did you stand up on
Yeah,
the
I
board
stood up on the board.
and then
Sick.
immediately ate shit?
Yeah, probably. I mean, I was like,
That's what I do.
I was like 14 years old, so yeah, that's probably what I did.
I think I've been surfing for like 8 to 10 hours at a time and actually riding a wave for maybe 40 seconds of that.
Yeah.
You seemed
Yeah.
way cooler when you were younger. You rode single speeds. You did cyclocross. You did the NUE series. You had
Okay,
was
the
the
NUE
NUE
series is not cool.
Yeah. And
okay pre-NUE series.
Yeah,
He went surfing. Man, I think
used
I'd
to
rather hang out with
skateboard.
14-year-old Dylan
Yeah.
than now Dylan.
Yeah, dude.
Now you're just lame.
14-year-old Dylan was like peak cool, and then it just went downhill from there.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know, man. You've got fan pages now.
Oh,
Mm.
don't get us.
Did you see that latest one? It's something about like slobbing on Dylan's 69 knob or something.
Oh God!
What?
Jeez.
It's something like that.
People are weird.
It's like I-69 DJ
Making
or
this stuff,
something.
like, there's a long list of stuff I would do before I would make a fan page about somebody or like do anything remotely close to that. Long list.
Dude,
Lifetime.
if you were to make a fan page about any human being, who would it be, Scott?
I was embellishing a little bit. It's I love DJ 69.
Yeah, the latest post is about how I should be on Project Echelon.
Yeah.
This is great. Dylan follows his own fan pages. Nice. He just quoted his fan page. Good for you.
Yeah, I
man.
reposted it.
Wow. Did they tag
That's
you?
how
in
I
it?
saw it.
Yeah, they tagged me in it.
That's gutsy when you tag somebody that you're making fun of in the post. Like, there's not a way to tag people in my YouTube videos, but I've kind of poked fun at Borstelman in probably the 3 last videos I've done, and I'm a little nervous that he's going to start to get
Poking
the
so
wrong.
much fun at Borstelman. What's wrong with Borstelman?
In 3 of the races I've done this year, I've literally passed him on the side of the trail. I've got video of him attacking, and I've got video of him on the side of the trail.
What's he doing on the side of the trail?
Crashed or flatted.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So why do you don't have to make fun of him?
I'm not making fun. I mean, I'm kind of poking fun. I wouldn't say making fun because I like
Oh.
Borstelman. He's a super cool, nice guy.
Like one of those where you're just like, oh, there's Borstelman on the side of the road again.
Literally,
Okay, that's fine.
Exactly what you just did is what I did in the last video. I actually went a little further. I said, well, John, I know a few mountain bike coaches, and if you would like me to hook you up, I give you $100 off your first month of coaching. I did say that in the video. But it's all in good fun. I think
Yeah,
it's not
that's
like
fine.
him, me, and what's the other guy's name? Trudeau. I think me and Borselman are actually good friends.
Yeah, you and Trudeau hate each other.
Yeah, I've never talked to Trudeau off the bike, so he'd probably punch me in the face. Borselman, well, I've talked to him a lot off the bike, and he's nice. Pretty sure Kyle Trudeau would punch me in the face, though. He just seems like the kind of guy that would.
And if he wasn't going to before, he's definitely going to now.
Yeah, he got to live up to it now. Yeah,
Dude, Dylan, you do follow this page.
Yeah.
They've got 28 followers.
Nice.
It's hilarious. I feel like this is not the only one. There's more fan pages I know. Or maybe they're Bonk Bros fan pages that I'm thinking of.
Yeah,
I
there's
don't
at
have
least
any
2
fan pages. What's up with that?
You need to have fans to have fan pages, Dizzle.
Dang, yeah, that's true. Yep. Somebody did message me just this morning on Instagram and said, they were asking me for a discount code for Lauf, but then they also added that I'm the coolest Bonk Bro. So,
Dude, I got a handwritten note
What?
in a package I got.
No.
What?
Yeah.
How'd they get your address?
Because it was from I ordered something.
Oh.
Really?
And the people
Yeah.
there knew who you were because of the podcast. Dang,
Nice.
this
What
world
the
we live
handwritten
in
notes
is so
say?
small.
It just
That's-
said love the podcast.
what was the company?
4i, of course.
Oh,
yeah.
Dude,
Got
man,
it.
that's crazy because we've shit on 4i so much on this podcast.
Not,
You shit on
not
4i.
Scott, though. That's why they love him.
Yeah, you guys got me in trouble last week. BWR, Michael, the guy who runs BWR, messaged me and was like, "What's up with that video title?" And I was like, "Uh-oh." And so then I went and looked. And last week's episode was called "Is BWR Cali Dead?" Or it didn't even ask the question. It just stated the fact, like BW
What do you mean,
Cali
you guys? I didn't
is
have
dead.
any part in that.
And I'm like, so then I gotta respond to this guy's email. I'm like, oh man, I feel like such a jerk now that I'm associated with you idiots. Colin,
That's how we feel every single day of the week. Being
I thought
associated
last
with you,
week's
Drew.
episode was. I thought last week's episode was called Riverside YouTube Intro. Should I buy this bike? No Bonk Bros.
no, that was 2 weeks ago.
Oh, it's 2
We
weeks
should have
ago.
left it that.
What's the
that
deal
would
with
have been
that?
better than
What's the deal with that?
I don't know what happened there. I think that was just like the
Like an automated one?
the automated file name or something. But
Did it get the same amount of views?
got
that's
more.
what Tyler said. Maybe it'll get more views, and it did.
It got more views. When we accidentally forget to title it, it does better.
Yeah.
That means
yeah,
our
algorithm.
content is not. We don't do clickbait, you know. People will actually watch it. 'cause
That's
they wanna
all I
watch
could
it.
tell him last week. I was like, yeah, sorry. I guess they just put that on there as like clickbait to try to get more views. I told him that I think we said good things about I think we talk a lot about BWR, so I think it's good.
Well,
Yeah,
okay,
I mean, I
Dylan
think-
says that it's dead because there's one
Because
less
Keegan's not there.
big name
Yeah.
that didn't show up. But
No,
I'm sure
dude,
the same
it's-
amount of actual people do the race.
Or- Like the
There's
4
other
people who
factors
have
that
won
go
that
into it.
race in the last 6 years were all there.
Mm-hmm. But it was only 38 pro men and 5
Yeah,
pro
because
women
this
that
was the
finished.
first year that they actually separated the pro from the amateurs. Before it was just 1,000 people on the start line.
yeah, what about Valley of Tears?
And it
Wasn't there,
looked amazing, but
15
this year
dudes
they
there?
actually pulled the pros out, so it looked a lot smaller. There were probably only 40 pros last year too.
So you think that's the main reason why? 'Cause they're separating
That's
them?
why it looked so much smaller, which we're a fan of. We want them to do that. We want them to separate the.
Yeah, I don't know because I don't think this is the first year that they've separated.
Last year.
I feel like they
did, for sure.
separated a couple years ago. I could be wrong.
They
I don't
have
know.
in some of the other events, maybe, but not at Cali. I did Cali last year. It was cluster
Okay. All right. Yeah.
for sure. It was way nicer this year having it separated.
Mm-hmm.
I still do wish they would separate the men and the women, though. I just don't want to be the guy that crashes out one of the female riders on accident.
You would be that guy.
I know. I'm like so nervous that I'm going to be that guy, and then somebody's going to come after me because I took out their rider.
We all know that you're nervous around women, Drew. It's fine.
Yeah, especially bike women.
Did you guys follow Traka at all?
I didn't
I tried to
honestly,
look up the
a little
results.
bit.
Traka was hard to follow because there's so many different
Yeah.
distances.
Literally.
Yeah.
So like Sophia won something. Did she win the big one or did she win the baby
okay, she
one?
Won the
Or
200.
Thank you, Adam, for starting off the Traka discussion with exactly what
We
I'm
did
about
this
to rant
last
about.
year.
okay.
Yeah, we did it last year, but it needs to be ranted about again. It needs to be ranted about until they fix it because
I
so
think this
Gravel-
is good. If you've got
Gravel
two
Earth
big
Series-
races, two big races is bigger
dude,
than
it's
one
terrible.
big race.
No, it's terrible, Drew, and let me explain why. Gravel Earth Series gives points for both. They give points for the 360 and the 200.
Bro, you know that if there was prize money in the 100-mile at Unbound, I'm dropping down. 100% dropping down.
Yeah, or what if like the Lifetime Grand Prix series gave points for both the 200 or the 100?
Well, they
Yeah,
should
what if-
they should give less points for the 100. I think you have to gamble on which one to do.
That's
That
I
would
like
be
that.
cool.
I like that.
Well, technically,
One hates that idea.
Technically, at Traka, you can do both because they're on different days. And some people did do both.
Didn't
so you can get
Torbjorn
double
do
the
both?
points?
Yeah. But you're probably not going to do very well in the 200 if you do the 360 the day before. So, you know.
That would be terrible.
So Torbjorn did the 360 and the 200, but didn't they also have a? So is that what the 560 was? Was just the combination of the
No.
two, or was there like a? Okay, that's what I thought. So there was a long one. You could also just do 560,
And there's
straight.
100. There's 100, 200, 360, 5 whatever.
And we're talking kilometers.
Now,
here,
look,
right?
that's fine.
Yeah,
They can have
kilometers.
different distances. That's fine. Like Unbound has different distances. BWR has different distances. Every race has different distances. That's fine. But they need to decide which distance is the premier distance and tell people that that's the premier distance. It's either the 360 or the 200. It can't be both.
How many races
And-
have you ever hosted?
What does that have to do with it, Drew?
Because the
why
Traka
are
is
you
an
in it?
extremely successful event. And so having
Look.
some YouTube guy tell them how they should run their event seems a little backwards.
All right. Let's imagine that Paris-Roubaix for whatever. How long is Paris-Roubaix? Like 250 kilometers or something?
Dylan loves to
Yeah,
use
it's
stupid
longer
examples.
than that.
This is a.
No,
I can
this is
already
a-
tell you this is a
This is a
stupid
perfect example.
Go ahead.
Let's say it's 250K. Let's say that Paris-Roubaix decided we're going to have a 150K version and a 250K version. And, both are the same amount of UCI points and both are the same prestige level. So you just pick which one you want to do. They're on the same weekend. Pick which one you want to do. And let's say MVDP does one and POG does the other. Does that make it a better race or a worse race? And the answer is obvious. I don't even need to wait for you to come up with some dumb reason why it's better. It's worse.
I mean, you can't just sign up for Paris-Roubaix.
I know, but like, let's say hypothetically, the UCI decided to do that. How dumb would that be?
So
And
Scott, it's
World Tour-
like the PGA Tour in Live. You know, it's like breaks apart the field. You don't know which one's better. You know, like
Sure.
it's the same thing.
Not
So
that I
that's
follow
exactly
that
what
much,
happens
but
with
yeah.
Traka. There's fast people in the 200 and there's fast people in the 360 and they don't get to race each other.
So which one is which? Like this is a serious question. Which one is the big deal?
We don't know. We don't know.
So
dude.
it's
Right now,
not
they're
stated
pretty-
anywhere.
I think they're pretty equal, the 200 and the 360.
Yeah. But like, if it's a race weekend, there should be one premier race so that every fast person at the race is competing with each other, so we know who the fastest person
Right.
at that race is.
Yeah. So like when the announcement comes out that, you know, all these World Tour guys are going to come over and do Unbound, and then you find out that they're doing the Unbound 100, immediately you
So
just
lame.
write that off. It's like,
So lame.
whatever,
Yeah.
that means nothing. Even
Yep.
if they win, it means nothing to anyone.
It means, yeah, exactly.
The Traka needs that, where it's like, okay, so-and-so won the 200, cool, great training ride.
Yeah.
Next.
If you're a World Tour rider and you come over to Unbound and you do the 100 mile, you're a big old puss. That's what you are. So Traka needs to decide, is it the 200 or is it the 360? That's the premier event, is what I'm saying.
What do you think it should be?
I don't really care which one it is, but if they're trying to say that it's the Unbound of Europe, it should be the 360. Because that's what they're claiming, right? This is the Unbound of Europe. which Unbound's a long race. So if you're going to make it the Unbound of Europe, I say 360.
What if it's the Unbound 100 of Europe?
Yeah. I mean, they could also make it the 200, and I would honestly be fine with that. If they made it the 200, no problem with that. But they need to decide which one is the premier event.
Stetina was 7th. Toby was 9th.
So
which one did they do?
360.
They did. Well, Toby did both.
I'm looking at the 360. Roberge.
Which one
was
did
17th.
Sophia won the 200, right?
I think so.
She must have, because Carolina Mignon won the 360.
Yeah. I think Pa Normal won every race except for the 200 women's, which Sophia won.
Don't they have like 30 people on their team though?
Yeah, I guess.
All right, where are you finding these results at?
Sportsmaniacs.com.
Yeah, that was not my first choice.
Yeah, I tried to Google the results, and if I can't find it in less than like 6 seconds, then I just give up.
All right, I'm on Sportsmaniacs.
Because any road race, even like the small ones, you can get the results on one website.
Griffin Easter was
Immediately.
30th.
Jeez. I guess 360K is what? That's over 200 miles, right? 220 miles or something?
220, 210.
So this is
Okay.
bigger than Unbound then.
Yeah,
Longer, bigger,
it's
better.
The distance is longer and it takes longer too. I mean, I think
11 hours and 37 minutes for Tobias Kongstad, who is the winner. Anyone by 5 minutes.
So you remember when Chad didn't Chad like try to beat the course record by himself or something? He did.
Chad Haga?
Yeah. Did they beat his time? Does anybody know?
Yeah, I'm sure. I think.
How are you sure?
Because I remember his time was like in the 12 hours something. I mean, I'll try and find out.
I mean, when Chad broke the course record, that was back when Traka was not nearly as big as it is now. It'd be like
it was still big.
No, but it's way bigger and more competitive now than it used to be.
I don't know. It was pretty big.
Yeah, Tobias set the course record.
Okay. I wonder if Chad's going to go do it again.
I don't think he'd be able to.
Yeah, I don't think
it's so competitive now. Like it'd be like, back in 2018 being like, I'm going to set the Unbound course record. And you probably would feasibly be able to do that in 2018 because the course record was like 10 and a half hours. But if now you're like, I'm going to set the Unbound course record by myself, like, I don't know if there's a human on earth that's capable of that.
Well, so there've only been two Trakas since Chad Haga set the course record. So I don't know when Traka started to get popular, but there's only been 2 editions since he did it. But his time was 12 hours and 51 minutes.
Oh, geez.
And what was the time this year?
11:37.
Yeah, dude.
So I wonder if it's the same
chance.
course too.
Hashtag
it could have changed slightly.
I would think it'd have to be the same for it to be a course record, right?
Well, I don't.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's like
or very, very similar.
Hashtag
I'm sure it's similar, but
hashtag future of gravel was 40th in the small distance.
Who's the future of gravel?
His name
Farmsworth guy.
Did
that Farmsworth guy?
Future of gravel. That's kind of lame.
Who
are you going to mention his name or not?
I don't know who his
Andrew
name.
Leidick. I don't know.
Who is that?
I've only met him once. But Andrew, you should change your team name. You should
That's what
probably
his
just
team
call
name
it
is.
Andrew Leidick.
Oh, he's probably just joking, dude. He's probably just joking.
Is he joking?
Are we supposed to know who this guy is?
He's a felt guy. I've ridden with him.
Oh,
he's a nice guy.
Slick got 56th, former Unbound winner.
Whoa, dude, washed.
Dang.
Yeah, what happened to that guy? That guy was like a big deal for a while.
Well, he won Unbound, and then
I know.
Yeah,
and then he just gave up.
One and done, dude.
One and done.
Oh, Mattia DeMarchi did both too. He got 4th in the 360, and then he got 67th in the 200.
No, he was 6th in the 360.
Yeah, so what? But my point was he did really good in one and really bad in the other.
Well, yeah. So which one came? I'm guessing the 360 came first, right?
It did. Yeah, it did.
Maybe this is why they do the 2 different distances because we're talking about it.
All right. So Roberge was 17th. So perspective on field strength. So I'm trying to compare the two different fields and see which one
Luke
seems like it
Durbridge.
would have been.
83rd.
Like, isn't it looking at the finishing list, it's pretty hard to decipher which one is a stronger field, no?
Yeah, because I don't know. I don't know half of the names. Yeah. But these names.
Well,
are,
yeah, that doesn't
most
help.
Of these names are really
Like
cool,
Matt
though.
Beers got second in the 200. You know.
Yeah, I don't know. It is hard to tell, and that's I think that's
But yeah,
Dylan, your point.
Toby was 108th. Yep. Yeah, it'd be hard to race back-to-back days like that.
108.
Why would you do that?
200.
What's the
Training, man.
motivation there?
Miles. Volume.
I mean, you came all the way to Spain to do something, right?
But why not just do the 560 and try and win that?
Because that's lame. Dude,
Yeah, that's
like if you're a
only guys
professional
like-
gravel racer that's capable of winning.
Only guys like
All right, so what about
BC
Lachlan,
Adventure and
who's
stuff like that.
who's defending champ of Unbound, and he's going to do the 350 this year?
Yeah, is that lame? You know, because the thing is,
You just said it was lame.
because he
Lachlan's
already
a different
won.
breed, though. Like
He already won the 200, right? So he can't do better than first.
and
Okay.
people just love anything Lachlan does. It's like everything he touches is gold.
True. Yeah.
That's true.
So he'll do the 360, and next year the 350, and that'll be the premier event just because Lachlan did it. You know, like the
No way.
350 this year is going to get more attention than it's ever gotten because Lachlan's doing it,
That's probably
Yeah,
true.
100%.
Yeah, for sure.
and he's going
And
to
he'll,
just
he'll,
freaking
he'll
dust
easily win
everybody.
it. Easily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like not even.
You don't think
close.
anyone else will show up?
Well, people show up, but like they're not going to contend with Lachlan.
Dude rode around Australia. 350
Yeah,
is a
that's
walk
true.
in the park, bro.
That's true.
If you're capable of winning the 200, 350 is going to be easy for you in terms of winning it.
I mean, like, yeah, he's won for him. Yeah, 350-mile race is nothing. Like, he's won ultra races. He's got the course record on freaking Tour Divide.
Right. Yeah.
The
Yeah.
unofficial record.
I hope for his sake that there are some hitters that do show up so that he can actually just smash them and
Yeah, dude.
not look like he was just, a big fish in a small pond.
Mm-hmm.
I'll do it.
Or he probably doesn't even care. Like, that's the cool thing about Lachlan is like he doesn't care.
Doesn't
He
care
just
who
does whatever he
second
wants.
place is. Who cares?
No, he just does whatever he wants. He doesn't care what other people think.
Yeah. That's a pretty cool vibe to have. Kind of like
Definitely
Scott.
definitely not the vibe that you have.
Scott
Drew.
does whatever he wants. Look, he's just like, you know what? I'm out. I'm
getting tired. Of
I'm
this.
gonna hop on the gram now.
Dude,
in the middle of this
Scott.
podcast.
Talked about gravel for way too long. Scott's tuning out.
Scott, yesterday for the first time ever, I used ketones while I was playing golf. That was like my only fuel
Yeah.
source the whole round,
Uh-oh.
and it was awesome.
Game changer.
Probably would have done better
Maybe,
if
dude.
you
I
did
was gonna have
donuts.
you say we should set up a call with our homie and see. I feel like golf could be the next frontier for ketones.
You just said how you just talked about how you didn't play well though.
I played fine, especially for like literally
You
not
shot a
being able to
75.
walk.
It's
If
pretty
I
good,
owned a
but also-
company and an athlete said, you know what, I played fine, and that's how I want to market myself, I'd say, sorry, bud. Next.
I mean,
Your
of all
product
the
helped me to play fine.
he's not wrong,
Now, if you had like
but
made it and you're in the GP of golf, then
yeah, I mean that would have
That'd
been
been better.
way better marketing. But the thing is, like golf, there's still people that like at the turn will eat a hot dog or like a cheeseburger,
does
right?
it
So like
matter? Swinging a
Yeah, it
club in
matters.
the air, yeah, whatever. Hot
Golf-
dog
I think
hammer?
definitely like mental focus would matter.
mental,
a shitload.
it's yeah, mental. That's
okay.
what I was getting
I
at,
can see
Yeah.
that.
and that's where I felt like the ketones was cool.
What do you think is the proper fuel source for golf? Like, what should you eat while you're golfing?
Ketones.
Ketones. That's it.
Honestly, like I felt great
I
yesterday.
honestly don't know. This is a genuine question. don't
No,
know what
I
you
mean
should be
you're
eating.
not burning enough. You're not burning enough like calories or glycogen to where you would need like high carb drink mix. But and you also probably don't want to like get insulin spikes. So you want like some kind of fuel that's like pretty easy to digest, so you're not having like any issues with like gut issues. But you're also out there for 5 hours. You're walking, I don't know, anywhere from 5 to 10 miles. You know, it's like it's not stationary. So yeah,
low carb.
And you're telling me there's pro golfers that are getting a hot dog in the middle of that?
Some of them actually, yeah, probably, yeah.
Bro, I'm listening
like fat
to
pro golfers. They're like arguably fat. Like
I'm listening to Phil Guyman's book, and in that book he talks about how Alex House won a stage of Tour of Utah right after he did a hot dog hand up. He grabbed a hot dog, ate it, and then attacked and won the stage at Tour of Utah in like 2012 or something. So there are probably golfers watching that saying, "Wow, are you telling me that pro cyclists?"
I 100% guarantee there were not a single golfer that was watching that.
Also, Keegan and Russell eat hot dogs while they're, training for Unbound. So
do they eat roller dogs in the middle or do they eat at the end?
I don't know. I don't participate on those rides.
Yeah, because it probably makes them happy, and then they train better when they're happy.
Yeah, agreed. Chase is even worse. Chase will do like a hot dog and an ice cream cone and a Coke and a donut. But I'm pretty sure
in the middle of a ride.
In the middle or end of a ride.
I'm pretty sure when he does that,
winning.
that's like he's already ridden 120 miles and he's got 20 more to go home. So he's like, I'm pretty much done. So I'm just gonna indulge myself.
I just hate stopping in the middle of a ride. I hate it for any reason. I mean, I'll have to like fill up my bottles.
Yeah, because that's
if it's a long enough ride.
Hot dogs are so easy to pack though. Like you could easily bring 30 hot dogs in your jersey.
Gross, dude.
Corn dogs would travel way better.
Yeah,
no, they get kind of soggy.
When we started doing corn dogs in high school at the football games, game changer. You can fit way more, same price.
Same price.
And they're like easier to eat. Oh man.
And your hand doesn't get all sticky.
Like, if I'm on a 140-mile ride and I'm at mile 120, there's no way that I'm stopping for anything.
I ride my bike 140 miles all the time.
Dude, Scott rode 140 miles yesterday.
Baller.
First training ride of the year.
First ride over 40 all year. So I just added.
I got one of those Strava notifications that said Scott hasn't ridden his bike in a while. Give him some kudos. So I went over and looked at it, and I was like, "What the fuck? He just rides 130 miles out of nowhere."
He went straight from recovering from an overuse injury right back into overuse injury.
Creating one.
Are you gonna end up like needing like what's the status of your knee? Give us a knee update.
Olin.
Is it
Yeah?
Fixed?
Did
you get surgery or something?
Just let it heal.
I don't know.
You just harden the fuck up, dude.
Yeah.
Did you do stem cell?
If you just push through the pain long enough, it just goes back to normal.
Just calcifies and
that's not medical or coaching
new
advice,
bone.
But
No, it's good.
Yeah. Nice.
That's good.
We're proud of you, Scott.
I mean, I did 7 hours and it was fine.
So what are you training for?
Nationals.
That's it.
Road nets.
I think you talked about that, right? And you're not doing any racing between now and then.
He was 4th last year. He's trying to improve upon that.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard.
Yeah, it is going to be extremely hard.
I don't know who's coming.
That was my very next question.
Yeah, depends who shows up.
When is it?
It's Memorial Day.
It's on a Monday.
But it's early.
It's on
this
a
year.
Monday.
Yeah, weird.
Isn't that early? Isn't it usually
last
in June?
year was a week earlier. It used to be in June.
Okay.
But then it was like the week. It was like when everyone else's nationals are. So they tried to get more World Tour riders to come. So they made it earlier so that you could like still prepare for the Tour de France.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I doubt anyone will still come. Well, I don't know. Not like all the World Tour riders.
Who won it last year?
Sean Quinn.
Baller.
You don't say.
Do you think if you were still in that group, you would have won? You think you have the best sprint out
I
of 3 of
have
them?
no idea. Dude, after that long of a race, you can't bank on a sprint.
You would have lit him up in a sprint.
I would have tried.
Yeah.
I could have been
feel
top
like
3.
I feel like your sprint is better than the 3 of them.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe.
They probably all.
Yeah, but after that long of a race, it's like
Yeah.
I was vomiting stomach bile.
I guess
after that.
Nielsen
I think
Pals
it was-
did beat Wow Fan Art. So
Well, Nielsen like did the lead out for Sean.
yeah.
You would have
So,
lit him up.
Who knows? But now the course is like slightly different. Apparently, we do like less of the hard climb, less times. But
So that's probably better for you, right?
maybe, but you still like we still do it like 10 times, or I don't even know how many times, but it's still a hard climb. So it only takes one time to drop me or drop someone. Right? Like you can ride up it easy 9 times, and the 10th time they go full gas, and you're still dropped as if they went full gas up every time.
That's how they did. That's how it always worked out in Knoxville. It was like we would do 8 laps easy, and then the last whatever how many laps were just full blitz, and every lap the field would just get split in half. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Last year I felt like it was a little different. Like I feel like we went pretty hard on the climbs, even on the first couple of laps. Maybe I did, maybe you didn't. But we were going the same speed.
Are you going, Drew?
Nah, it's the Monday before Unbound, and I'm either. I think
perfect prep. That's perfect.
I like contemplated it because it's literally like 3 hours from my house, but but then I would be away from home longer. That's the reason I'm not, because then I would have to go out there. I mean, realistically, I don't think it starts till the afternoon, so I could literally drive out there Monday morning and do it. But no, that's like one more day I'm not home, and I'm probably going to drive.
Because you'd go straight there to Unbound.
Yeah, I'd have to. Yeah,
Just do the crit.
no, not doing that.
Your kids will already be asleep by the time you leave your house. It starts like 9:15 p.m. or something. You can put them to bed,
And
leave, do the crit, and be home by the time they wake up.
Yeah, you can come
Sounds
home,
awesome.
and when they wake up in the morning, you can be like, "Daddy's a national champ now."
Yeah, because doing all these ultra endurance races are going to get me real good and ready for that 90-minute crit that went terribly last year.
Are you doing an Unbound block of some sort?
What is
Yeah.
the deal with the Unbound block?
Oh yeah, full Unbound block.
Scott, you wouldn't
Does
know
that just
about it.
mean you're
'cause-
training for Unbound or what?
Scott, you wouldn't know about it because you're not a gravel racer.
Scott's block for Nats sounds like an Unbound
Yeah,
block.
it does sound like an Unbound
It's
block.
called training hard. I mean, I don't like whether you're training for Unbound or another race. It's just training.
Scott, Unbound's the only bike race that exists in the world. You didn't know that?
Yep, I'm doing an Unbound block. I'm going to try to hit 35 hours this week, and then another 35 next week, and then recover. How are you going to replicate your sickness like last year and do like a whole week of? Are you going to do like a 5-hour week like last year?
Yeah, I'm going to inject myself with sickness.
Well,
no,
I'm
dude, just go like have fun in public for a little bit.
Did
and you'll
you?
probably
I
get
know how
sick.
you are. Did you like? Did you count backwards from the day of the race when you had that throat cyst, and then you're like, okay, on that day I'm going to stop riding because it worked
Yeah.
out so perfect.
Well,
I'm gonna-
you know, last year when for nationals, I had a similar thing. Like I got sick like 2 weeks out and took like, I don't know, 3 days off or 4 days off.
Yeah,
or
see, that's
easy.
the key.
Yeah.
Just
might be something
train
to it.
your absolute balls off and then just sit on your ass.
That's what I think. That's my plan. Yeah, that I'm going to go until the Tuesday before the other Tuesday. So like a week and a half.
And after that other Thursday,
Yeah. So almost 2 weeks before the race. It'll be a little less than 2 weeks before the race. And then I'm just the rest of that week, I'm like barely going to touch my bike. And then the
Okay.
week of Unbound, I'll do a little more.
What day is Unbound?
May 31st.
Saturday, May 31st. It's all just
It's
weekdays
usually-
in my head. It's on a Saturday.
It's usually in June. I don't know if
It's well, I guess their thing is I was thinking about this. It's probably the first weekend of June, and technically that is the first weekend of June. It just doesn't start till Sunday.
Yep. Smart.
So, but whatever.
Adam, you got listener questions?
Yeah.
Did you guys see that so you know how the UCI needs to do like check bikes before the time trial or the team time trial or whatever? The team time trial at the women's Vuelta, they were checking bikes and the UCI was like, I don't know, taking too long to check bikes or whatever. Or no. Movistar showed up late to the bike check. So UCI is checking their bikes. And then because Movistar showed up late, Jumbo didn't get their bikes checked in time to have everybody on the starting line at the time that they needed to start. And they had to start late. And one rider didn't even show up to the start in time and had to do the team time trial by themselves. And I think also Uno X was affected by that too.
And they didn't adjust the start time.
They didn't adjust the start time. They were like,
dang, turds.
Because Movistar showed up late. Sorry, Jumbo and Uno X, we're going to be late checking your bikes and now you're going to start late.
I wonder if they factored in that they have to check an entire team's worth of bikes at the same time versus like just one rider at a time. You know what I mean? Because if they start a minute apart, that means you got to check 7 bikes in 1 minute. That's too many.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Like if you...
Are you trying to say that the UCI is incompetent, Dylan?
Well, that's what the comment section said. People love to shit on the UCI. And I mean, rightly so, but...
Why? Why rightly so? They're the governing body of international cycling.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the big thing that people just get all fucking their panties in a wad about is the socks thing. Like anytime the UCI does anything, they're like, "Oh, dude, UCI cares more about socks than they do this."
I thought you were going to mention
rider's safety
being bribed by Lance Armstrong and an entire decade of doping scandals.
Well, if you want to jump into that, you can, man.
I thought that was the big thing that got people pissed off about the UCI, not socks.
No, dude, have you been? Well, look, it should be, but have you been on the internet in the last 5 years? It's like every single meme about the UCI is like they care more about sock height than they do whatever this blah 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 whatever.
I told you I'm listening to Phil Guyman's book that was written in 2014, so I'm just in a blast from the past right now. Like,
what book is it?
It's called Draft Animals.
Yeah, okay, I read that one.
It kind of pisses me off that he whines about how there's talent and then there's real talent, and he's whining that he has talent. And I'm thinking the whole freaking book, I'm thinking, what the heck do I have? I don't even have talent.
You don't even have talent.
I don't even have average talent. And he's whining about his talent. And I'm like, shut up.
You know why he's whining? Because he sniffed the top and then realized he didn't cut it.
Yeah. I'm not even close enough to sniff the top.
No.
I'm barely sniffing the bottom.
Here's the thing, Dizzle. I try to give you perspective on this all the time, and you never fully realize it. No matter how fast you are, you could be the slowest person in the world. You could be the second fastest person in the world. You're always gonna be like, why didn't I have what that guy has?
I think reading or listening to his audiobook is making me more and more aware of that in my own life. And I'm like, I just want to be content with where I'm at, because there are all kinds of dudes that wish that they could be where I am. So like yes, I hear you, buddy. I'm listening to you.
Like
now.
you're racing in pro races. You know how many people wish they were good enough just to race in a pro race?
When I'm listening to his book, I'm like, man, this guy whines a lot or complains a lot or talks about how he works so hard and whatever. And I'm like, you know what? I think I just want to be happy. I just want to be happy
that's it, dude,
and content.
That's literally everyone in the sport of cycling. Yeah. Everybody in the sport of cycling, unless you are the very best. See, that's why sometimes I think about like, what must it be like to be Nino Schurter? You actually are the best. There is no one better than you, at least at his peak. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like you have no one to be like, man, I wish I had what that guy has, because everybody behind every single person, even second place behind Nino Schurter, is like, man, I wish I had what that guy has.
Nah, you know what? He's probably looking at Lance Hayden thinking, I wish I had that guy's face. That's what I would be. If I was the fastest cyclist, then all you can look at then is, man.
Yeah, but dude,
what a good look.
MVDP, man.
Yeah,
he's got the face and he's got the legs.
He's got the looks and the legs. Dang.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. I don't know. He seems pretty happy.
Yeah, dude. I bet that dude eats so many hot dogs too.
Yeah.
Just amplifies the happiness.
Yeah.
Okay. Tristan.
We went on some deep philosophical there.
That was good.
Yeah.
Tristan says, after Sea Otter and Whiskey 50 are won by XCO World Cup racers in 3 of the 4 elite categories, is the Lifetime Grand Prix field just washed? Have they put too many 72,000 hour weeks to be able to go fast in something that's less than 10 hours long? Or are Sevilla, Haley, and Riley just fast as fuck? Well, we still don't know what happened to Keegan at Whiskey, right?
So, yeah, what I'll say is that I think if Keegan had been healthy at Whiskey, he would have, it would have been way closer. I'm not saying he definitely would have won, but I give it a 50-50 shot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Are you saying more than a 50-50 shot?
It
would have been
I'd give it at least 50-50.
It would have been a good race to watch. Him and Riley.
It would have been fun.
They don't race. I mean, I can't think of a time that they've raced head to head recently or ever. In a big race.
I doubt.
Yeah.
I don't know if they ever have.
And Whiskey 50 is kind of in the middle of both of them. It's a little long for Riley. And it's a little short for Keegan.
Yeah. Also, the other thing I'll say about Whiskey 50 is Whiskey 50 is not a Lifetime GP race. Like the entire Lifetime GP field was not at Whiskey 50. You know?
It's true. Some of them were at BWR Cali.
Yeah, exactly. Sophia was at BWR Cali. So you're talking about, Sevilla won Whiskey 50. It's like, well, Sophia, who's the fastest Lifetime GP rider, was not there. So.
Yeah, but didn't she? So she must have gotten beat at Sea Otter though by Haley Batten.
She did get beat at Sea Otter though. Yes, that's correct
By a lot.
I think that's what Tristan was talking about.
So Tristan, what I think the only legitimate argument you have right here is that Sophia got beat by Haley Batten at Sea Otter, which yes, I will. You know,
what was this question? I missed it.
It doesn't pertain to you. It's for Lifetime GP riders only. No, but I think Tristan hit the nail on the head. That's why I sucked at all those races, is because I'm overtrained. I'm overtrained for Unbound. So I'm glad that you pointed out that fact, Tristan. That's my excuse for.
Was he suggesting that?
He said that doesn't he say? Do you think everybody's overtraining 72,000 hours?
So I think there's another thing to look at here is the fact that, and like people have also thrown Chris Blevins into the mix too. Like when Blevins has come in and, done really well at Sea Otter or Little Sugar or whatever. Like Blevins, Riley Amos, Haley Batten, I don't remember if Sevilla was, like they're Olympians. Like these aren't just like run of the mill XCO racers. Like you're talking world class athletes.
Mm-hmm.
And like doing a discipline that's not that far off from what their main discipline is. So it's like, I think you're just looking at talent, man. There's a lot of talent.
Real talent, not
real talent.
Not talent, real
just
talent.
Real talent. Yeah.
Us bottom sniffers are just trying to make YouTube.
Bottom sniffers.
We're just trying to make YouTube videos from it and make it work.
Yeah.
You should put that on the back of your jersey. Bottom sniffer.
That's actually what you should have named your team, dude. Lunchbox.
Bottom sniffers.
Dude, what is Lunchbox? Is that just a name or is that?
That's our team name, dude.
It's because Drew has to do everything as close to Dylan as possible, and Dylan was on Jukebox, so he wanted something that's similar. So it's
I
a
didn't
Lunchbox.
even think about that. I was worried that it was too close to the Matchbox. There is a lot of boxes, aren't there?
No one cared or worried about that ever, except for you.
No, it wasn't even my idea. It was Chase's idea, Lunchbox. He had a hockey coach growing up that would always say before practicing games, like, all right, guys, I hope you guys packed your hard hats and your lunch boxes because they got work to do. And he always like talked about blue collar, hard work.
So you guys are supposed to be like the working man.
Yeah, yeah. Lunchbox is supposed to be like the working man. You pack your lunch, you go to the construction site.
Respect.
You guys don't get like massages and team staff. You guys got to do everything.
You guys
yourself.
probably give each other massages.
Yeah. Did you say we give each other massages?
Yeah.
Yeah, isn't that what teammates are for?
Right, you'd think.
Okay, well,
Come on.
What about the bottom of Sniffers?
Oh, our massages are next level.
You're gonna get
We
flat.
actually haven't even got to hang out. We've only been to one race together so far because somebody had to go and have a kid.
Yeah.
Don't you have 2 kids?
Yeah, but I didn't have any this year. But he'll be at Unbound,
I feel
so
like,
the team will
man,
be reunited in a few weeks.
you know, I've said this about Wout Van Aert, not Wout, Chase's child. You know,
Wout
like I
Van
feel
Aert.
like if you're a bike racer, man, you know, you can semi control when you have your kid. Like, how about you not have your kid before Unbound?
Yeah, but it's sometimes
No,
you can't
that's-
control it.
Having a
And
kid
also,
is way more important than Unbound.
yeah, that's what I was
No,
going to say.
like if
Chase
you're thinking
realized.
about having a kid, he's not thinking about his Unbound prep when he's having a
Chase's-
kid. He's bringing a new person into the world.
Yes, Scott.
That's like way more significant than
I'm just saying,
Scott
I would
nailed it.
think about my Unbound prep.
That was
but
one
you
of
were
the
like all about Dylan. Other people are, about their family and shit.
Yeah, that was one of the reasons that I was like, man, Chase is even cooler than like we just kept getting closer and closer last year. And one of the things that he said that was like, dang, me and this guy, like we're like I respected him even more after he said this. He was like, yeah, me and Abigail want to have a family like as soon as possible and don't care if it messes with my cycling career. Like we want to have a family, so we're gonna have a family and I'll make it work with racing. I was like, yeah, that's pretty cool. Most people are like Dylan and are complete opposite. They're like, no.
Remember when
I
Dylan?
don't think most people are like that. Most people just have a child willy nilly whenever, you know.
Really?
I don't know about that either.
I've always said that if I have a child, I want my cycling career to be over first.
Yeah, I think that's what a lot of most.
Is that
pro
because?
cyclists-
But what
the
if you're-
cycling career will
what if
affect
you
the
end up
child,
like-
or the child will affect your cycling?
What if
career?
you're
Probably
like
both.
like Brian Motter in your mid 40s still getting podiums?
That's true.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
He doesn't have
Probably-
any kids, I don't think.
No, because
Yeah, but he's
like,
probably doing it
kinda
purely
old.
out of
Bummer though, man. Brian
for
Motter
fun.
is super cool. Imagine if there was all these little mini modders running around.
dude, mini modders
Yeah.
would be badass.
I would imagine his kids would be rad.
Dude, Brian Motter is probably that fast at 40 years old because he didn't have kids. You know?
Shut up.
He had nothing
Dang.
stressing him out. Nothing stressing him out except riding his bike, you know?
You're probably right. Stetna's got kids though, and he's pushing 40. And he's got twins. Like, talk about, dude, I got 2 kids, and 2 kids is hard. I couldn't imagine having 2 kids the same age. That would be, woof. My heart goes out to you, Stetna, man. And your wife, mainly your wife. That's hard work.
Yeah. All right. Kelvin here says getting arrow bands branded onto your arms and shoulders would be so insane. Like how MMA jiu-jitsu fighters keep their cauliflower ear as a sign of dedication to the craft. Ooh, I like that. Yeah.
You can get
I
those
think
removed, the cauliflower ears, because kids in high school used to walk around with those too. You can just get
Well,
them.
yeah, that's what he's talking about. It's like it's like a badge of honor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
You,
you can get those
You know
like
what?
drained.
You can
or
get them
something?
drained.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean-
they end up calcifying or whatever and get super hard after a while, but you can get them drained early on.
So what I'll say is a badge of honor, like, okay, getting arrow stripes branded on your arm. No one actually does that. But what is a badge of honor for cyclists is the tan line, like the leg tan
Oh,
line.
yeah.
But it
Like the
causes
one that I
zero
have-
pain.
Yeah, I guess. But
Yeah,
like,
but you also look like a total dweeb at the beach.
Yeah, so
I love
my-
the way my tan lines look. I think it's rad.
exactly, because it's a badge of honor. It's like you rode so many miles that you have a permanent tan line now.
Heck
like
yeah.
my tan line on my
Permanent.
legs.
Yeah.
My tan line on my legs does not ever go away. I could
No.
in the middle of the winter when I haven't worn bibs for 3-4 months, they are still there.
Yeah.
Has
Same.
your thigh ever seen the sun?
No.
Because you don't go on boats.
He's gonna get
Going on
roasted.
boats?
That part of your skin's gonna get so roasted the week after I'm back.
No, dude. I'm gonna
That
wear.
part does suck about the tan lines. It's
I'm
like,
gonna wear long swim trunks.
no, he's gonna wear his skin suit.
Yeah.
Nice. I think the point. Well, never mind. Go ahead.
Do you have
Probably
something
comedy.
insightful to say?
But branding is like I can't think of something that would be more painful than burning marks onto your skin. Like branding just seems like it would be the most pain. And then you've got blisters for weeks. Like that would be extreme commitment.
Yeah. I mean, and
If it was as easy as like going and getting a tattoo and then the tattoo healing, like that's not.
Oh, dude, speaking of
that's not so
tattoos,
bad.
man,
What?
show everybody. He did it. He got his sword tattoo. He didn't even talk about it last week.
dude, and his wife is so pissed at him for it.
She's gotten over it.
She's gotten over it.
You didn't ask her what
When
she
I
thought
was
about
getting
it
in
before
my
you got it?
when I was getting in my car to go get it, because I don't like lying, especially like blatant lying.
For the people that are listening to the podcast, why don't you just tell them what you got real quick? Because they didn't see you show
It's a
your arm.
sword from my elbow to my wrist. It's Narsil for all those Lord of the Rings fans, but it's not the broken Narsil. I just like the way it looks. And then it says Sola Scriptura, which is a famous quote from the Protestant Reformation. Yep.
All right, so tell us about how your wife reacted to it.
Yeah, she like I didn't want to lie to her. So
did you didn't get it in at BWR Cali?
No. I got it the week before that during the week.
Okay.
So yeah, I put it in the calendar that I had an appointment on like Tuesday night, and she's like, "What's this appointment?" And I was like, I just did a big like gulp and was like, I'm going to get a tattoo. And she just like didn't say anything for 2 days. She was so mad. And I think she thought that if she got mad enough, I wouldn't go and do it, but she was wrong. And then she was about to take the kids for a little walk around the neighborhood when I was leaving. And so she's standing in the driveway holding our baby, and Andy's standing there next to her. And she was just staring at me as I got in my car and left. Like it was the most awkward feeling ever. I did feel bad because she had to do bedtime with the kids by herself that night. That was the only reason I felt bad, though. I didn't feel bad about the actual tattoo.
Dude, you care more about getting all inked up than your own children, man.
Yeah,
Well,
this is like Dylan's caring
For
about
the
Unbound
record, I
more
do
than
bedtime
anything else.
every night with our kids. So except for when I'm not home.
Like, what
Which
kind
is
of
like a
dad
lot of the
cares
time.
more about tattoos than his own children?
So this is all these. That
What
was
if he
the-
got a tattoo of his children?
That was the thought. I wouldn't do that. I think those are lame. Yeah. I don't know. I think name tattoos to me are weird. Like to get somebody's name tattooed on you, unless it's Jesus's name. In which case, I already have that tattooed on me. So,
I think I do like the placement of your leg tattoo because it's right under the tan line.
The
but
leg tattoo, your leg tattoo.
I know.
I think that's the sickest
No.
tattoo that you've gotten so far. I like the sword on the arm.
You think this one is?
Yeah, I think it's dope.
I know. I'm pretty good at tattoo design and placement.
No, you're not. You're really not. But
I am. I have 3 very well thought out and well placed tattoos.
Yeah, well, it's a little bit. Yeah,
I look at mine. I'm like, oh man, all 3 of these are like well placed, well designed. They fit that part of my body perfectly. And then you look over at Dylan's arm, and there's an astronaut with wings, and you're like, what the crap is that? This guy was on mushrooms when he got that.
yeah, dude. And then you look over at
It's just
my arm,
frolicking
and you're like,
on your bicep. Like, what's up with that?
Then you look over at my arm, and you're like, damn, dude, that is so much sicker than.
Okay,
what I have.
there was this hilarious moment at the Mid-South when we were just sitting in the living room and we were talking about your tattoos, and you're like, man, sometimes I'll just look down and I go, yes, I love this, like I look cool, and I have that same feeling, except for I have to do this.
Can't see it.
I can't see mine. I'm like, but then when I do look at it, I'm like, yes, that looks so cool. I wish I could
dude.
just look down and see it though.
So when you and Trudeau get into a fight and you go to punch him in the face, are you gonna pretend that you're actually hitting him with a sword?
Yeah, dude, Trudeau's all inked up too, man.
Yeah, no, I thought about that. He is all inked up.
You guys could be buds.
Yeah, his tattoos. I don't know. Yeah, his tattoos look cool. I don't know what any of them are, but
Dude, speaking of, I don't know how I thought of this. Cool tattoos. We should talk about how PETA freaking crashed and broke her collarbone and still got second place in the race.
wait, for real?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Did she crash after she got second, or she got back up and finished second?
She dude, okay, so
because homeboy earlier this year won and then crashed and concussed himself. The European champ.
Oh,
What's his name?
No.
Scott. If Scott was paying attention, he'd know exactly who I was talking
I'm
about.
not paying attention now.
The homeboy the European champ that crashed after he finished because those reporters were in the way.
Merlier.
Yeah, Tim Merlier.
yeah. No, she crashed in the middle of the race.
it was pretty
and then-
close to the end, to be fair.
Broke
Oh yeah,
her
were you there,
collarbone.
Dylan? Were you
I
watching
was
it?
not there. I would never watch a crit in the rain, but I was.
It was in the rain too.
That would
Yeah, that's-
be bad for his unbound prep.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, PETA crashed, and then because it's crit racing and you get a free lap. She got a free lap, and they put you back in where you crashed, and there was only one rider, Holly, that she crashed with, so they put her back in with Holly, and then she basically just had to
Stay with her.
stay with Holly. I think she did a couple of turns too, actually. She didn't just sit on her wheel, and then she couldn't sprint because she had a broken collarbone, so she just crossed the line.
So
second.
they were off the front together.
Well, they were in a group of like 5 or 6, and all of them crashed except for Holly.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Well, and the other ones didn't get back up.
Yeah, the
What
other
race
ones.
was this?
It was one of the Speed Week crits.
which one?
I don't know, dude.
Oh,
Yeah,
which
too
city
many.
was it in?
Who cares?
What? It was on Friday, I think,
No, I think it was Saturday.
or Saturday. Yeah,
I gave up on trying to follow those.
yeah. It was the
Too
day they canceled the men's race and they shortened the women's race.
But was it Spartanburg?
No, wasn't it College Park?
Why does it even
Yeah,
matter which
doesn't
one it
really
was,
matter.
dude?
They're all just
it doesn't
random.
matter.
Well, I want to know what because Spartanburg's like a big one.
I don't
It
think
wasn't
was
Spartanburg. It wasn't Spartanburg. It was like the day after Spartanburg. Anyway, yeah,
So
Yeah,
does that
dude.
mean she's out for a while?
she is out for a while. Yeah, just went back to Australia.
Did she really?
Yeah.
Was she supposed to stay, but because she broke her collarbone, she's like, all right, I'm out. Dang, are you sad? Now we're back to lonely by himself in his living room, Dylan.
Yeah, as soon as this podcast is over, I'm going to shut all the lights off and just sit on my couch.
Dang. When did she leave?
Like literally 5 minutes before we started recording.
That's sad.
Yeah,
Did you take her to the airport?
Unlike you, no, I didn't take her to the airport.
It's not that kind of relationship, Scott. Come on.
And unlike you, Drew, I don't let things that happen before the podcast affect my mood on the podcast,
Is that
So
true?
you are saying you're sad.
I just think that you don't have emotions. That's
Yeah.
Also, you're not
So you're
married,
just-
so you can't relate. Shut up, Dylan.
Mm,
This will probably be good for your unbound prep, though.
probably,
True.
yeah.
You'll have
No
no,
more-
excuses to have
No
fun.
more stupid t-shirt rides. What was that?
Yeah.
Come on. What have you stooped to? A t-shirt ride? What's wrong with you? I thought you were
It was a
pro.
recovery ride. If PETA wasn't there, I probably would have just worn a jersey because it's as easy to put a jersey on as it is to put a t-shirt on. But
where do you,
You
put like
wanted
your
to look
phone?
cool.
exactly. That's actually the biggest problem with a t-shirt ride is that where do
No,
you
dude,
put your
it's-
phone?
No, you get cargo bibs, dude.
Yeah. Rule 28 doesn't make cargo bibs.
No, you get one of those, you get a quad lock.
Or you
bro.
get a fanny pack.
quad lock. Come on.
All right. Well, Seth wants to know if you can cut the side knobs off of a Thunderbird and still have a decent tire.
Yeah, why not?
Is a Thunderbird a decent tire to begin with?
Are you serious, dude? It's one of my 2 approved tires.
Well, I know, but
Why
it
would you
depends.
cut the
I guess it
side
depends on
knobs
the
off?
application. If he's talking about gravel, I guess it's fine.
So
I wouldn't do
think
that for mountain biking.
I think
though.
the reason why he's asking about cutting side knobs off is probably because it doesn't fit on his bike unless he cuts side knobs off. I mean, I cut side knobs off of Race Kings, and it's fine. I've never actually cut side knobs off of Thunderbirds, but I think it'd be fine.
But don't they make Thunderbirds in smaller sizes? Can't they just get a smaller size?
Well, he might have one of these antique gravel frames that can only fit 45s for some reason,
True.
you know?
Time to update, Seth.
And when I say antique, I mean like probably a Argon 18 from last year, you know?
Okay. Mark says, please, for the love of everyone, have a Tyler/Dizzle only episode. Maybe a guest could include VC or Kyle Trudeau and watch the magic happen.
Dude, I also want to do an interview with the guy that hates me.
Who's that?
There's
Apparently
one guy there's one guy in the YouTube comment section that hates Scott.
Yeah, we should set that up.
And every single week he comments about how much he hates Scott.
Yeah.
Good. I like this guy.
Why? Because you're finally not getting a hater on you?
Yeah. I'll take it.
We had a lot of people that wanted to hear about my lawnmower prep.
Lawnmower.
Oh, yeah. I want to hear about this, too.
Dude, yeah. So I posted a video over the weekend of me going to fire up my lawnmower for the first time this season.
Mm-hmm.
And I showed them where I store it because proper storage is key for lawnmower maintenance. And I store it outside, completely open to the elements, uncovered, gets snowed on, rained on
For
all
real?
year.
Just a pushing lawnmower?
Push lawnmower, yeah. I
Do
keep
you
it
just
outside.
not care about money?
Let me tell you. So this lawnmower I bought from Ace Hardware for, I think it was either $100 or $119. I can't remember, but it was 7 years ago. And I posted the video of me. I just give him, I prime the motor like 5 to 10 times, and first pull every single season, fires right up, gives a little bit of gray smoke coming off. But seriously, I've never changed the oil. I've never sharpened the blades. I've never stored it inside. It still had the same gas from last season.
I was about to ask because like the gas thing is I didn't know about that. That the gas will go old and then that won't.
I mean, apparently it doesn't. I think that was just your problem. But yeah, seriously, we had a lot. I had a bunch of people that were like, you got to talk about this in the podcast. So I don't know, maybe Dizzle, maybe you can, or Scott, you guys can rate. What do you guys think about my lawnmower maintenance?
I didn't see it, but it sounds terrible.
Probably similar to mine.
I mean, I at least put mine in my shed.
I don't have a shed yet.
I
You have a garage?
also wonder why our viewers wanted you to talk about that.
Because it's badass, dude.
Aren't you building an office?
Because here's what happens. I'm building a shed office.
You're building an office, but you don't have a shed for your garage? Or for your lawn?
We have a garage, but we don't have a shed. And I don't want to store the lawnmower in the garage because it smells like grass all the time.
Yeah,
like I don't want my garage to smell like grass.
And the gasoline fumes. Yeah, I wouldn't want to do that either.
Well, the gas is fine. I store the gas in the garage, and I store my snowblower in the garage because that doesn't smell like, it just smells like snow, which is nothing.
I'd pay a lot of money for my garage to smell like grass.
Really? What kind of grass are you talking about?
You know why? It's because Scott's garage probably smells like dead animals.
Yeah.
Just like his car.
But seriously, like the number of people that do hours and hours of lawnmower maintenance every year and their lawnmower still doesn't fire up the first time, like you're doing it wrong.
Well,
you just got to leave that shit outside.
Were you going to give this company a shout out, or were you just
Probably doesn't
it's
even know what brand it is.
Hold on. I took it's in the video. It's called the Poulan Pro. I don't even know if that's the brand or if that's just like the
Poulan? Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even know if that's how you say it, but that's
Poulan Pro 450E. Go find yourself one of those. Fires up every time. Let's see what else we got. Got some Instagram ones. Grace has been doing a good job of filtering through. I used to just like open up Instagram and just read verbatim whatever questions people sent in.
Yeah, that was terrible.
Yeah, I know. But she's got like a whole, but I got to find her album now.
I mean,
All right.
we're paying her to do a good job, aren't we?
Tour of Colorado. Well, yeah, that's why you pay people.
You can still
yeah,
tell people they're doing a good job, Drew, you know, even if you pay them.
Yeah. All right, this is
Not
from
the
Max.
check that
Max
they get
says,
each month should say, "Hey, good job."
no, you got to give him some
I know,
positive
I'm
feedback.
I know, I'm totally joking.
Max says, discussion topic, since y'all have been chatting about Keegan and his prowess at altitude. The Tour of Colorado is coming back in 2026 as a UCI race. If y'all could create a dream team of gravel pros to show up and represent the community, who are your top 8 guys? And hypothetically, would the Lifetime Grand Prix sponsor said team as a side quest, given many of the riders would have to potentially sacrifice a Lifetime Grand Prix race or two to compete at it?
No, because
the answer to the second one is no, absolutely. They would not do that.
Because that's not one of the Lifetime GP owns the Lifetime events. And that's why it's such a big deal. They're not going to pay for people to
Lifetime Events owns the Lifetime GP.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
But yeah.
So they're not going to pay for athletes to go to a competing event. It's from a business perspective. That's like, I don't know. Somebody from Walmart paying somebody to go work at Kmart.
Yeah, and Drew's a businessman, so he knows.
Yeah.
All right, so who's on your
Fast Cat coach? No.
Who's on your 8th squad?
Keegan, and then who even cares about the rest of them?
Really?
I don't know. I mean,
You wouldn't pick like Stetna or Howes or Lachlan, who actually have World Tour experience?
Well, I guess that makes sense.
Or Alexi? Alexi would be
all
a
three
top
of the
one.
guys you just named are not in the GP this year.
It doesn't have to be GP. It just says Gravel Pros.
Oh,
Has nothing to do
it's
with the
Gravel
GP.
Bros. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then actually, I mean, I think you make a good point about picking people that actually have road experience. So Stetna, Howes, Lachlan, Alexi. He wants us to pick 8. Oh man,
And Matt
What are these
Beers.
guys doing? What are these 8 guys
Matt
doing?
Beers
think
would
so
be
hard.
like all.
Have you not listened to anything we just talked about? So Tour of Colorado is coming back in 2026, and this guy wants us to pick an 8-person team of
first
gravel
off,
pros.
You got to read the article that was written that says that Tour of Colorado is coming back. Because in the article, it says it's putting on by this British company, and then it says that they've yet to put on any successful event
Yeah, I've heard about that.
at all.
so you don't think it's going to happen?
I mean, would you trust somebody who's never done what they're going to say they're doing?
At least they're
I
trying.
mean, it does just...
When
Yeah.
it involves putting on a massive event in a expensive
Okay, well,
state?
We're doing a hypothetical scenario anyway, so we can do a hypothetical scenario about a hypothetical event, okay?
Okay, I honestly think Dylan's right that the Keegan would be good, and then the rest of it doesn't even matter. Like, all the guys you named weren't good enough to continue to race at that level. That's why they do gravel.
Yeah, but you don't think that Keegan would need teammates?
I mean, I guess, but it depends on the course.
So wouldn't you want teammates that know what they're doing?
Yeah, probably. Okay, sure. If you had to pick 7 other guys, but like those
Like
are all-
Keegan would be the guy that you're trying to, put in position to win. Sure. Also, like Tour of Colorado, I don't think
It's high enough.
it's high enough. Like a lot of the stages are at 5,000 or 6,000 feet, which isn't real altitude.
you don't know the stages. This is a hypothetical event that was one article was written about.
If
I mean,
they
I
had-
bet you that we could.
That's true.
I bet you that we could like come up with something on
That'd
this
be better.
podcast that would result in a similar article being written about a race coming to the U.S. Like that's
Okay, if they had a stage that finished at the top of Pikes Peak, which would be dope, Keegan would win. That's
that
my
would
prediction.
not be that dope because then you have to ride down or get down somehow after the stage. and
Okay,
just,
Scott, why are you
fucking
being
cars
such a
and
party
everything.
pooper right now?
I'm not a party pooper. I'm realistic.
A stage finishing at the top of Pikes Peak would be dope for the fans.
I don't think,
you'd have to get down afterwards, but
Yeah. I don't think they've ever finished there, but
don't
some
think
of the
that would be good
stages
for
have
the
finished
fans.
like
why would that not be good for the fans?
Because it's so long of a climb that the race would like that would be like a boring stage. More boring.
Okay. Well,
Cool, bro. Thanks for
hypothetically,
killing the vibe.
all I'm saying is hypothetically, if there was a stage that finished at the top of Pikes Peak, which is at 14,000 feet at the top, Keegan would win.
Yeah, then he probably would win because the positioning wouldn't matter as much.
Was the Tour of Colorado a big deal? Because I remember hearing all kinds of stuff about the Tour of Utah and the Tour of Cali, but I don't remember hearing much about the Tour of Colorado. Like,
yeah, it was a big deal.
What?
I think it was, and I think it went through phases, right? Like, because wasn't it a big deal back in the like 70s or 80s or something like that too, originally?
You think I was around then? I don't know.
But I mean, I thought it was like as big of a deal as Tour of Utah at the time.
I think it was the same level of race as Tour of Utah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
It was
not as
like-
big as Tour of Cali.
Yeah, Cali.
And they
was
were
big.
close in proximity, so I think it would be like similar teams, riders, basically same thing.
Gotcha.
Why are Spain, Italy, and France the only countries that get Grand Tours?
They probably just started them like 100 years ago.
Yeah, that's probably.
They were the first.
I'm surprised
right
that
answer.
like Dubai or something like that hasn't tried to buy their way into a Grand Tour.
I bet it's like a money thing. Like, I bet it just costs the infrastructure and the money is probably just.
They
It must
started the
not be a
Giro
money
in
thing.
Israel.
'Cause that's true. They did start the Giro in Israel.
That would
Yeah,
be
but
such
they
a
always
pain in the
they
ass.
always start. I mean, the Tour de France has started outside of France like a dozen times. You know,
Yeah, but not
Not
another
in Israel though. Yeah.
Yeah.
true.
like imagine starting in the U.S. You got to fly across the Atlantic mid stage race.
Yeah.
How has which one's the youngest, like the newest of the Grand Tours? Do you know?
I have no idea. I'm sure
I
the
bet
internet
it's-
will tell you.
I bet it's Vuelta, but I don't know. Tour de France has to be the oldest, right?
I'd just be curious to know if anyone else has tried. Like, has someone else tried to just put on a 3-week long stage race? And
There's a 25-day race in Vietnam, allegedly.
allegedly,
UCI?
sounds not legit.
I don't know. One of my teammates was like talking about it. He's like,
Is this like
it's
an
not
ultra?
UCI. It's like a
Is it an ultra endurance event?
no. It's like a road stage race. That's 25 days in a row, no rest days.
25 days
No
in a row,
rest
no
days.
rest days.
Yeah.
Jeez,
Wicked.
man. Why don't they just make it a full month? Why do they stop
In
it at
Vietnam,
25?
it's like no joke of terrain too. You Googling it, Scott?
Googling, yeah.
All right. Well, move on to the next question, huh?
Okay. While Scott's doing that, I guess.
Or we could just wrap it.
Could wrap it.
Wrap it up.
We're actually
Question-
recording on a rest day, so I don't have to go ride after this.
Question for the podcast. I'm currently prepping for Unbound and I plan to race a set of Kings, but want to have a backup plan if it's muddy because of clearance. Plan is to have a 40 to 40 or 45 to 47 millimeter tire mounted on a backup wheel set. What's the Unbound tire selection in that scenario? Was thinking about the Vittoria Terreno mix condition or the Terreno dry, both in the endurance / thicker casing. So mud tires for Unbound.
I love how people are calling the Race King the King.
The Kings and the Dubs.
Yeah, people are calling it the Dubs. Did you guys watch the Bicycle Station video? The Dubs were slower.
Yeah. I was there.
Yeah, you were there, dude. The Dubs were slower than the Kings.
They tested the new ones and the old ones.
Yeah, they tested the Race Kings and they tested the Dubs, and the Dubs were slower. Do you not remember this? You were there.
I know, but I was doing my own testing. So, like, it all just kind of, molded together or whatever. They tested like 8 different tires, I think.
Yeah. Are you going to tell us about your testing, or you still haven't come out with that video?
Nah,
so
I
you
need to
can't
do
talk about it?
some secondary testing to rule out one thing, but then I will. I'm doing that tomorrow.
Secondary testing. There you go.
Yeah, well, Nah, I'm just not going to waste my time.
I want to know.
I tested 3 sets of tires, but the Race Kings I already had mounted up on the Explorer wheels, which are those wide ones. So I want to rule out the fact that those wide rims might have skewed the results.
So you used different rims.
Yeah, because I didn't know that they were going to have an air compressor to switch the tires.
Whole test is invalid now.
No,
You don't
I'm
have
going to
an
go
air
out and do
compressor?
some other testing to make sure that they're not invalid. And I thought, if anything, having them on the bigger rims would make them faster, because that's exactly what you're doing, and you do whatever is fast.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that right?
Wait, so
Dylan?
you're
Did it
saying the
not-
Race Kings were slower?
Did it not
Yeah.
make them faster? Did it make it?
I
Well,
think
you're
The
gonna
Race
have-
Kings were.
Yeah.
Just tell us the results, man. Come on.
If anything, the Race Kings went slower because of the wide rims, and so I need to put them on the standard rims to make sure that didn't
Why would
make
they be
them
slower on the
Slower
wide rim,
than-
though?
slower than
The wide
what?
rims are supposed to make them faster.
I don't know. This is what happens in real life
Okay,
testing
okay.
instead
Slower-
of just hypothetical testing.
Dizzle,
guys.
slower than what? Slower than what?
Slower than Pathfinders and the RS1s.
Okay. On gravel?
In what size?
My gosh, these are way too many questions. Just watch
On
the
gravel
video
or
I'm
on
gonna put
pavement?
out.
This is just
On
tell
both.
us the test.
On both. Okay.
Yeah.
Is the video out?
No. I've got to do
Well,
the
then why did you
second,
just tell us to watch the video?
because it's going to come out here in a few days. I had to put out the BWR Cali video, and then tomorrow I have to go do this final run of testing, and then the video will come out later this week or this weekend.
I'm going to lose interest by the time you release the
All
video.
right, good. I'll
Wait,
put a
so
link,
what
I'll put a link
size-
in the group.
Trey's
text, so you-
Trey's testing showed that the Kings were the fastest.
Yeah, but we tested different tires and different scenarios. They only did one. They only did the downhill / flat gravel, and I did 3 different types of terrain: paved uphill, gravel uphill, and gravel flat.
Are you going to go through your testing protocol in the video?
Yeah, I'll run through everything. Yeah, but I don't want to make this big claim that the Race Kings aren't as fast as we've all been thinking they are, and it be because of the rims.
Sure.
So I want
No, that's
to
fair.
rule that out before I make the video so that I don't get
Yeah,
blasted.
but you're testing on totally different days, right?
I know, but I'm still going to test both of the rims, and if there's not a difference or a slight difference,
So you'll test the Race Kings on both rims, and then you'll extrapolate that data.
yeah, and I'm gonna
that's
since
fair.
I'm gonna be out there, I'm gonna also test the Pathfinders on both rims.
Okay.
Yeah.
What rims are you going to use at Unbound?
Depends on the test. I mean,
Fair.
yeah, whichever one's faster.
So you
Okay.
basically have to redo the entire test.
No, well,
Well, then the results are invalid. What if there was
Yeah,
like a
yeah, I
rally
guess
car
so.
race
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
gravel section, and the gravel's all different than before?
I am gonna-
Wind's
yeah, I'm doing a different-
Humidity, the air pressure.
yeah, I'm doing a totally different area and everything because I'm not gonna. The testing I did was up in Columbus with Trey and the bicycle station, but this
So you're
time
gonna
I'm
drive
just gonna-
back to Columbus?
No, I just said that, Scott. I'm not driving back to Columbus. I'm going to drive to some gravel that's 20 minutes from my house and do it there.
So you're redoing the entire test then?
Yes, I guess so, but mainly just to. But now I'll have even more data to use for the results, which will make them even more legit.
But the first set's invalid because you're redoing the test.
Gosh,
Why would you have to redo it if the first set was valid?
just because of the one thing with the rims, but the other two.
You should just delete the first test results permanently.
One thing that I will say about outdoor testing is the wind will absolutely wreak havoc on your
Yeah,
test.
that's what I was trying to say to so in their results the Kings went faster.
Yeah.
But they did the Kings at the end of the test,
Mhm.
and I did the Kings at the beginning of my testing, so flip-flop, and my results were basically the opposite of theirs. And so I had said I think either the wind was a factor, and then they told me, well, it could have been my rims that were a factor. And I'm like,
Well,
it's one of
so-
those two things.
What you should do when you do the testing is do AB testing,
Back and
meaning
forth.
you test kings, and then you test pathfinders, and then you test kings, and then you test pathfinders, and then you test kings, and then you test pathfinders, and then you take the average of them. And because you swapped every time, hopefully that'll cancel out changes in wind that happened over the course of the day.
Yeah, true. They wanted
it's
to
hard
test
to do if you don't have multiple sets of rims, though.
They wanted to test as many set tires as possible, so they just did one run, one tire.
Yeah,
one run.
Yeah,
yeah.
That's completely invalid.
One run, like,
but they tested 8 tires, so it's like,
yeah,
and it still took us like 4 hours.
Yeah, it gets very difficult and very time consuming. When I test tires, I try to do multiple runs. And what you find when you do multiple runs is that there are outliers sometimes. So if one of those happen to be an outlier, it could completely invalidate the test.
All right, well, tomorrow when I'm out there, maybe I'll do 2 runs per, and I'll try to swap.
Definitely do more than one run.
I'll swap back and forth, I guess. Because I could have like
Do you have 2 sets of those rims?
No, but I could do the wide and the narrow and do 2 runs on both and then switch them and
swap.
Yeah. So like that'd be a lot of runs, but
if you're going to do 2 runs, do like Dylan's talking about. So
alternate
A, B.
But instead of swapping tires, I could just swap rims and then swap the tires. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Right.
So it would work. It would just double the amount of time I'm going to have to do testing.
Yeah, but it's well worth it.
I would say two runs is also pretty inadequate, but it's better than 1 for sure.
Yeah. All right. I'll try it.
I think when I was doing my tire testing last year, I was doing 6 runs each.
How long were the
runs? Which still, I felt...
Because the longer the run, that also helps. You don't want to just do a 1 minute run.
Yeah, and I was doing like 3-minute runs.
Yeah, the ones that I did up in Columbus were 6 minutes.
So even on the pedaling efficiency rig, which is supposed to be a completely controlled environment, they had me do multiple runs with each setup.
You should.
Cool. Well, wrap.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we can probably wrap it there.
Any sponsor? Good. Nah, it's too late. Whatever. Should have done that at the beginning.
But yeah, we didn't finish our SILCA 8-man team. I think we're just going to the Tour of Colorado with 5 guys.
Keegan, Alexi, Stetna, House, Beers.
Well, you need like a sprinter.
Lachlan.
Who's fast?
Who's the best gravel sprinter?
Oh, probably
600 watts.
Cole Patton.
Cole Patton, you think is the best gravel sprinter?
Toby's won the most sprints, but it's gravel sprints aren't exactly sprinting.
Yeah, I don't know if you can really compare.
I actually think Adam Roberge, if he was able to make it to the finish, is probably close to the best.
All right,
yeah, Roberge should be
on
good.
There, and we need we need some diversity can't just be all Americans.
Canadians, yeah, we got.
And then one more, Dylan, because you got to have like somebody that's famous to.
Someone
to bring up
bottom sniffer bringing up the rear,
so that he can just talk.
Gotta have somebody making YouTube videos.
Payson, I don't know. Payson would be a good one.
No,
Payson's not a.
Payson would not be a good one.
Also, Payson's got a good sprint.
He would be a good sprinter for sure. Yeah.
Who's the last guy, Payson or Dylan?
Not Dylan.
We go with Payson.
Sorry, Dylan.
There we go, Payson. All right, there's our team. Are we missing anybody?
No, I don't think so.
So Cole Patton wouldn't make the squad. Yeah, I don't think he would do that well. He's like never raced a road.
I agree. DJ just asked who is good sprinters. We got a new code for SILCA. Bonk Bros Unbound 2025. Kicking off that Unbound block.
Unbound block, baby. Get yourself the SILCA.
This code for SILCA is constantly changing.
Yeah,
it is.
Every 2 weeks.
Darn, what do they call those websites? The darn
crawlers.
Crawlers, yeah, those crawlers.
Yeah, creepy crawlers.
Hate those crawlers.
All right, wrap it. Okay, see ya.